Hey guys, welcome back to Buddy Fellows. Today I want to talk to you about a film that I just got. Well, not just got, one that just came in. And, this is Marx Brothers film called Monkey Business. It's on two 1,600 foot reels. So, this is reel one. And you can see that it is a plastic reel. And plastic reels over time, they just sort of close in, like they get from like this wide, just narrowed down. And when they get narrowed down, no matter how many hours you do of like, say, you put this coaster in here to like make it wider so you know there's not as much sound when it plays through. It doesn't screech, doesn't make that awful screeching sound. It doesn't work. It just doesn't work. This was why I feel like it was so cheap. The reels are so annoying. I wasn't even able to watch 15 minutes of the film because of how distracting it was and how annoying it was. And to correct it, I had to get two 1,600 foot metal take-up reels that I could get from, I could thread it from here to here, not even playing through, just straight onto that. And then I could attach my metal reel, take this empty plastic reel off, attach the metal reel on, and then rewind it onto the metal reel. So it won't, this is the kind of stuff. I'll give you a sample. And the print itself is okay. When I first got it, there's a little sprocket tear. It wasn't too bad. You know, I just spliced it up. So, this projector is so amazing. When the sprocket tear came about, there wasn't any sprockets from about like this much. Not any, it was just completely wiped out. And it's a brown right here where the malfunctioning starts happening. But my projector caught it right here, so the rest of the film didn't rip. So that's how amazing the projector is. I just got that little bit spliced. You can't really see it because you hear that? That's the reel. You always have to stop it really slowly. But all that squeaking was not through any of this. It was through that. And I wish it wasn't so, but it is. So that's why I'm getting the metal reel. And this happens to all plastic reels. I had the Buster Keaton jailbait film, and that was screeching too, not as bad as that, so I mounted it on one of my metal ones. But the thing is, we had that because that was a 1,200 foot reel. This is a 1,600 foot reel. And no, like, these reels are so cheap. Like, that's why you always get metal. It's because you can see the color is starting to fade on these. You know, they're bendable, but they don't stay bended. It's like some sort of a split reel. Is it split? No, it's not. Split reels are like $1,000. Don't get those. Like, split reels they like seem amazing, but like they're not worth the hype. But I'll run this film when it isn't grating to my ears, when I finally mount it onto the metal ones. Then I'll play a couple clips of that for YouTube. That'll be for my 2-year channel celebration, which is in about a week. Yeah. But, you know, lesson for today: always have your splicer handy, like handy meaning on the table of your projector. A couple of splicer bits just fell off. But always have it on the table, because you never know when a giant sprocket tear is going to come about. But like, the projector catches it, but the thing is, you don't want to have that experience again, because what if it doesn't catch it? I doubt that it wouldn't, but like, these are projectors. Yeah, so you always have to, you know, don't immediately stop it, but you have to stop it slowly, so it doesn't tear another part of the film. Then usually it's about right here when it gets caught, the ripped stuff. The machine stops right here. It stops the ripped film, but the ripped film always ends up right here. You have to manually rewind it. Take it out of the projector, splice, then get your press tapes, and then press it back in. And then I always like to test my splices. They always work, but like, I just want to see how it you know, plays through my projector. But yeah, I'll make a video where I play a couple clips from that, and that'll be in my 2-year celebration. That will have all based on one film. It will have my review of the movie. It will have my review of the film and a couple clips, and then it will have a YTP and a random video then. So that's my special. But yeah, reels, take-up reels like this. This is an amazing reel. It's a Taylor reel, 1,600 feet. You always have to have a take-up reel. These take-up reels cost a lot. It costed me $52 for 2 of them. That includes shipping. And it'll take a while to rewind the plastic film to here, because it's playing sort of at forward mode, a little bit faster, but it's not rewind mode where it goes. It's just instead of like slowly when it's playing a film. So it'll take about maybe 10 minutes to get it onto that, and then it'll take about maybe 6 minutes to get it back onto the metal reel, just because of how fast the reels play. Also, you need to tape your films so they don't unravel. There it is. There's the unraveling. And then you can't trust it to fold back into itself because it's so bent. Overall, but just like by watching the first maybe 5 minutes of the film, it's an okay print. I mean, one of the titles is from another Paramount, like the opening Paramount logo. It's from another Paramount movie. I don't know which one it is, but it's just from another one. The music is completely different. Then the title scene is kind of like mixed around, like just a little bit, I feel like. I'll have to rewatch the movie online, but like the title sequence, I feel like it's kind of off. But the rest of the movie is fine. It was a steal for $125. I feel like it should have been valued at maybe $400. But I got A Night at the Opera for $600, and that sucks. Oh well. Oh yeah. Fellas, today I want to talk to you about how I have been making videos on this channel for 2 years now. And But, as you may know, if you've watched some of my least viewed videos, I talk about, my old channel and all the videos that had on it, and a lot were recovered, and I posted them. About 50% of it, maybe a little bit over, maybe 60%. But most of it, when I took about my old channel, I started about 2.5, 3 years ago. Yeah, 3 years ago. And when I recovered all my old videos that YouTube took down, my channel was terminated for no reason. Honestly, I feel like because I was looked underage. At that point, I was like 10, about to turn 11. I guess that was why. But my videos centered around not the stuff that I do here, not the projection overviews on film projectors, not overviews on old movies, but my old channel focused on good. These were awful. If you think the stuff that I'm making now is bad, you should have seen. And when I recovered all of them on my old iPad, I rewatched them and I re-edited them, and I saw that how bad these were. I edited all of the ones that I just found, and this is about 2 years ago, around the time I was starting this channel. And even from that short amount of time between when my channel ended and my new one just started, I feel like I re-edited all of them, and most of them were between 2 minutes, 3 minutes, but when I re-edited all of them, all these 2-3 minute ones, you'd think that it amounted to maybe 10 to 12 minutes. It didn't. It amounted to about 4.5 minutes itself. And I saw how bad my movie making was, and then I made a couple others of these 3.5 minute ones, and they were okay. They were watchable. You'd watch them out of interest. Just so obscure, so weird, so I don't know how to put it, but that's why the 10 people who originally watched the first edition of the video on my old channel, you know, those 10 people would watch it for obscurity because of how odd it was, because of how non-structural the plot was. And then I made maybe 3 more after I rediscovered these. These were watchable. And then I realized, okay, these are getting boring. I can't make a new series for this short amount of time between, by this time it grew to about 5 minutes, between 3 and 5 minutes. And I realized I can't make a narrative out of this anymore. I can't do this. I can't do it in this short amount of time, so I needed to start with something else. It was time, but I was a fan of the Marx Brothers. I still am. And I made a really embarrassing movie called Tell Him Groucho Sent You. It was Groucho's, the title was Groucho's catchphrase that he used in his 1950s game show called You Bet Your Life. And I used that line because I had nothing else to title it. And it was 30 minutes for the sake of it being 30 minutes. It was made for the sake of 30 minutes. And it was so boring when I rewatched it. From what I can think, I can't pick out a plot. From what I think, it's that Groucho gets employed by this mega company that does a bunch of smaller companies. You know, companies, big companies are regarded as small assets of the even bigger company. You know, it's a mega whatever. And he gets employed there. And all of the audio was dubbed. And I did an awful job on the audio dubbing. And so he gets hired without a contract. He gets hired as a lawyer. And, you know, you don't even know what the case is. and he's sort of causing trouble, being kind of annoying. And then for some reason, the judge wants to check his like contract and papers and all that. But he made the deal on no contract. But apparently that's required, so I don't know what happened. But he gets investigated, and the judge does the search right then and there. In his little briefcase, bag, and he finds like a Sprite cranberry. Well, Sprite cranberry. And the boss brings him in again. He gets hired as I have no idea what he gets hired as. It's just escaping me at the moment. But he, somewhere around the line, he has to mentor this guy who plays the piano really bad. And he just does that. And I thought that this was amazing stuff at the time, because it was just perfect. But the piano sounded off. I had to play it in slow-mo to get it in the 30-minute timeline, because I wanted 30 minutes. And if you see, when you click on it on YouTube, P.S. don't watch that video because it's awful. It's the most boring thing I've ever watched. But when you click on it, it's exactly 30 minutes. No more, no less. And, he plays the piano, then he says, "Buzz off." I remember making some really good gags for that, but never filming them because I didn't have the determination for that. I didn't let myself make time for good, pieces of the movie. And then a Christmas tree gets delivered, because it was uploaded on December 20th. And then he sets off a bomb firework, and then the movie ends. Then I made a couple others. These ones had slight improvements. The next one I made was a Buster Keaton based film, Silent, and I tried to make inventive gags with a nice storyline, but it didn't work. It worked a lot better than the last one, but it didn't work really that much here. It was 25 minutes, then 30, and that's a pretty big improvement. And then I made one titled Groucho Marx Movie Number 3. I had only made one Groucho Marx movie, but apparently I was connecting the Buster Keaton one to it. And I had nothing else to title it. Groucho Marx Movie Number 3. I didn't want to put the title in the front, so I had like this sort of monologue introducing the movie, and the movie was not good by any means, but it worked better than the other two had. Then I made another movie called Christmas Cretins, and that was 15 minutes long. Well, my Groucho Marx Movie Number 3 was 40 minutes.
it wasn't as bad as the 30 minute. But the 15-minute Christmas Cretins also had the Marx Brothers and Buster Keaton in it. This one had Groucho, Harpo, Chico for like a minute. Chico was a minute. And I had my Harpo wig. I had to trim that wig and to get it looking correctly. And I had a lot going for that. I remember in school, by the way, about this time I just changed schools from an easy school that was basically 3 days a week, homework Thursday and Friday. I was doing pretty good there, and that's what allowed me to make, videos. And but at this new school, things were really strict. Homework, classwork. I wasn't tanking in my classes. I was actually doing pretty well. And I mean, I made it work. And in study hall, every single study hall, I would do my homework in class. I had this operation where I would do my homework in class, rushed out. And during study hall, I would take that 30-minute study hall, write down ideas. And when I made Christmas Cretins, I realized I didn't have the ideas with me when I was filming. So the plot, I was chasing the plot. Like, the plot went here, a scene came here, the plot went here, the scene came here. And then I ended it on nothing. And then I read my original plans about a week or two ago, and they looked pretty good. And I had a lot of unused material, so I finished that one early. That was supposed to be the 1 year anniversary between my 30-minute one and my 15-minute one. Tell them Groucho sent you in Christmas Cretins. Big difference. I was planning to release that December 20th, like my other 1 year ago counterpart. And I finished it at the end of October, like Halloween Day, after school, before I put my costume on. I went as Harpo that year. I finished editing. I finally had everything lined out. Drag a few scenes here, do that so the plot kind of works. I watch it and it's okay. I would watch it. You have to give it the first 7 minutes out of the 15-minute movie. Then the last 8 minutes, it works. All of it works in the last 8 minutes. It's so good. If I had a better camera, better editor, a crew, and I would watch it, but it's not the best thing ever, but it's not the worst. I would watch it if I were bored, and sometimes I do that. And then I made The Chump, which is just a Buster Keaton movie, and I started that mid-November. To get, back in the filming groove. And I got back in the filming groove, to be honest. And I just filmed a whole bunch of these scenes. I have no idea what I was doing. I mean, there's a plot, Here's the plot, or synopsis. Buster is looking for a job. Sorry about that. I did not mean to say the word. Job. Sorry. But he's looking for a job, and he sneaks into a house, sort of, and they keep kicking him out. And he gets dragged by a golf cart. He finds a mat on the side of the road. He lies down on it, and the golf cart pulls him. He's still lying on the mat. The golf cart's dragging him with a piece of rope on the blanket, and it comes down to around this place where I'm filming. Comes down to the guest house, and he kind of crashes there for the night, and Harpo's there. I wanted to fit him in. I had some stuff that I wanted to do, and Buster mistakes a plastic straw, for a pipe, so he starts drawing from it, and bubbles come out of the top. And I made that scene work with just a plastic straw, and Harpo was sort of there. He had his own stuff, and that worked. And he went golfing with an egg the next day, and he was accepted for whatever employment he was applying for. And I mean, he runs from the guest house all the way up to the main building with the job. Sorry, just can't catch myself. Employment. And he makes it sort of, and he's running, and he finally gets to his office, number 308, and he opens the door, and it's the phone booth sort of closet, and it just freeze frames right there, and it says, copyright Buddy Fellows 2025 film, whatever it is, to make me sound important. And it was okay. It was an okay thing. Then I made The Independent, and that went completely off the rails. At first I meant it to be like just him going on a little journey. And then it turned into a Grand Slam opera, which is a sound film that he made, 20 minutes. Which is basically him at like an amateur hour radio show juggling. And radio shows, you can't see what they're doing because they're on radio. Usually it's singing for amateur hour. And he sort of messes up, and then he's told to leave. And then he goes away, spends like maybe a week in the wild, and just living off the land. And he is the winner. He makes it down there, but it turns out it's been a couple weeks, and for some reason the amateur hour thing is closed permanently. It ends with him being so shocked he's reading the letter that was pinned on the door that says closed forever. he gets so shocked that he sort of spins, you know, he plants his head on the ground. He has a hat on. And then he does a little sort of somersault with his legs up. And then I roll the credits. A Buddy Fellas 2025 copyright, whatever, film. And that plot completely got away from me. It went away. And I'm making one right now, and currently it sits at 12 minutes and 45 seconds. And this is a masterpiece. I keep watching this stuff over and over again. The scenes, I'm fascinated with it. I'll forever be fascinated with this one that I'm making. Because it works, I want to watch this. Not I would watch this if I were bored. I would never watch this in my life. I would watch this because I want to. And, you know, it looks pretty great. I'm going to give you a little spoiler. It's a movie where Buster is a retired like film enthusiast sort of thing. He's retired from the business. He's made all of his money. He's pretty wealthy. But he's so bored with retirement. And he applies for the job. And yes, he kind of gets accepted. He packs up his camera. He goes to the bus station, which is just golf carts, and it's the holidays. This is going to be releasing December 20th. I'm already working on it. I've been working on it since April. This is going to be a long project, but it's safe to say that I'm a little under halfway done. But it's the last, little bus ride for the holidays. It's in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. And it's in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So, it's the last one for the week. And it takes off without him. And he drops to his knees, and Portofino 2 by Raymond Scott starts playing. He's lying on the ground. He grows a goatee, and he puts a black pork pie hat on, and he puts some glasses on, and he looks in the mirror, and he looks like, but he kind of shaves it off with a comb. He just runs a comb through it and it falls off. It's quite funny, that part. And then he's just depressed, sitting there waiting for the next thing. And then the next scene cuts to him walking back to his boring, cushy life. And it's he's eating, and it's one of those fold out tables. You fold one side up to make it bigger, but I put my knee right here so it wouldn't lock in, and just at the right moment, he said grace, and then I go to eat it, and then I lift my knee out, and then it falls. That's a really nice gag, and there are plenty of gags like that. And then it cuts to him. The golf cart's for free, and there's a dog that's on it. It's my dog. She's pretty well trained, you know. She knows all the simple stuff, but she's smart. And she's patient. So she'll just be on the seat, and then, of course, I'm acting like I've never seen this dog in my life, so I'll just be like, and then she'll dart over to me. It's a small piece of companionship, but as I drive off, I stop for 1 second to like look at my watch, and then she jumps out, and then I notice that a second later, but I don't go for her. Buster's character, he wouldn't go because he feels like if they don't like him, they don't have to be with him. And that's just his character throughout all of his movies, so that's just what I'm doing. And eventually, she'll show up later in the movie, but I haven't filmed that stuff yet. I have filmed, as you've seen on this channel, bits and pieces of him looking through this elegant film room that I'm in right now, and he gets chased through all this stuff, and I'm gonna film a spot later where he gets chased through a bunch of sets by guards, and then eventually he's hired because of the test footage the boss saw. He's hired, then he's at his mansion, he's on the phone, and it turns out a bigger studio wants him for more money. And this is sort of what happened to Buster in his life. He, MGM accepted him. They wanted him on. And he basically gave up all of his creative freedom with his movies, and he made crap for 5 years straight. And then he went on to make really good movies like he was before. But just a rut of him doing nothing, going through the stages of the studio. And that's what I want to reflect. I want to get self-deprecating humor on Buster's character. And he did that sometimes. He, in the Grand Slam Opera, when he has a whiskey bottle on an empty one, on the back of his hand, and he'll flip it up so it lands right on his finger. And when he's explaining it, he's like, so I'll have this empty whiskey bottle, and I'll flip it up, and then it'll land on my finger. And then the co-star, Harold Goodwin, says, are you sure that it's empty? And then he said, oh yeah, I made sure of that. But that is on his character, but himself at the time, because he's still cleaning up his life from what MGM did to him. But, you know, I want to have parts of Buster's life in it also, because if you're making a movie about filmmaking and about Buster Keaton, most of it's, you know, all of it is fiction, except for some key parts, you know, like him getting accepted by a bigger studio, but less creative freedom. I want those parts in it. But back on Buddy Fellows. This channel definitely took 2 years to make. I feel like I'll make videos as much as I can this school year. Because after August 13th, nothing. Last year, I'm trying to make it maybe 5 videos between August 13th and December 1st. About 5. Because you get distracted. Then the entire month of December I'll be uploading. Then, between January and April, I'll be doing nothing. Then April to August 13th, I will be making these videos. And I'm sorry that you had to hear me talk for this much, but this is the history of my channel and my filmmaking. This channel could have ended up a lot differently. I could have cheated the system like gamers, who, you know, I'm not saying anything against gamers, but it's quite easy for them to gain subscribers. I'm only at bordering between 40 and 45 subscribers. Somebody subscribes, somebody unsubscribes. Every week. Back and forth. And I could have done what gamers do and just, you know, I mean, I'll play some of this game, I'll do some narration over it, maybe a live stream here and there, but that's kind of all that I'm willing to do. I have my interests in film, and my channel and viewers know that, and everything's coming together for my film collection. And the thing is, not many people will view a video about 16mm film, because it's a lost art. It's a lost format. It got buried by VHS. VHS got buried by DVD. DVD got buried sort of by Blu-ray. I don't see the quality difference. And then Blu-ray and DVD got buried by streaming. 16mm films. These films won't exist in 20 years. They won't be able to play through my projector, but hey, I'll play it as many times before that day, year, month comes. And I will always be the Buddy Fellows. I'll make videos until my last film is unplayable. That's when I'll end. Thank you for watching this video. Thank you for all my consistent viewers that have been watching me for 2 years, yapping to the camera about films, movies, qualities of films, how films decay, how you can keep films from decaying, ranking all the Marx Brothers movies, ranking all the Buster Keaton movies, ranking all the Bob Clampett cartoons, ranking all the Bob McKimson cartoons, YTPs, random videos. It's all Buddy Fellows. Those types of videos will all be available. I will keep making videos until my last film is unplayable on my projector. If YouTube doesn't die off first.
Thank you. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for watching these videos, even if you haven't subscribed. Hopefully, year 3 won't be as complicated to explain the channel's history as year 2 was.
Hey, Patrick, what am I now?
Stupid?
No, I'm Texas!
What's the difference?